He's
not
a
really even
telemarketer.
Telemarketer.
Am I going to trust my most important financial decision, whether it's a house, a car, life insurance, whatever it is, to save $1 or $2 a month with some random?
Right. Instead of building that relationship, which is so important in the world today, knowing who you're working with and understanding the person that you're with, even being a name instead of a number, I think is probably because mortgage world or cars or what have you. I mean, there's constant competition.
All right, guys. So welcome to the More Than Mortgage podcast.
Hey.
My name is Vito Mira, and today I have Seth
DiBartolo.
I didn't even try and pronounce his last name because I would definitely butcher it. All right, so today I want to talk about a trigger lead.
A trigger lead.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I had a customer call me.
Okay.
We had pulled his credit for a transaction.
Okay.
He called me up and he said, "Hey, Vito, I just had 20 phone calls and 17 text messages about a mortgage. Did you sell my information?"
Well.
No.
Okay.
So what happened?
So he's getting phone calls, right? He's getting phone calls from other competitors.
That he didn't apply with.
He applied
with me.
Okay. So there's this organization. It's called the CDIA. And that's the Consumer Data Industry Association. And within that association, essentially what it does is that if you're truly seeking to get a mortgage,
Which they applied.
Of course. And you pulled their credit.
Absolutely.
Right? Well, that is the trigger right there, because in the mortgage industry, as well as other industries, credit card or even cars, they're going to see that your mortgage has been pulled. Now, credit. You're right, that your credit's been pulled. And when that happens, it sets up this trigger. And these triggers benefit not only the consumer, but also the lender, because it says, oh, hey, guys, everybody in the industry, whatever it is, whether you're cars, credit cards, or houses, we've got someone that's a hot lead.
So who's selling this data?
Well, I mean, there are the three major credit bureaus that we do have.
Which are?
Yeah, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian.
Okay.
Yep.
So these three credit bureaus are alerted because the credit has been pulled that that the borrowers in the market for credit. It could be a mortgage, it could be a car, it could be
anything. Right.
So then to profit, they're selling the data to competitors,
right,
which are then overwhelming a borrower with offers.
Yes. So not only does the credit pull help the lender, but it also helps the consumer. It says, hey, I know now what my credit is, and I'm able then to go ahead and move forward with the transaction. So with both that pull, it helps both the lender and the consumer. So it makes it more of a competitive situation instead of like a monopoly. But at the same token,
I've applied with a local lender who I trust and know. So, one of my questions is who are these people who are buying my information?
Well, according to the CDIA, it's any of your competitors. So it's really, if they're looking at a mortgage lead or a car lead or a credit card lead, they want to get in front of you as much as they can. And so one of the ways is you'll get a phone call or a mailer. We could talk about that a little bit later too.
So I actually had my own credit pulled so that I could experience this, right? I wanted to know what my borrowers are experiencing, and what I kind of found is where we're a local lender, we're in the community. If you need me, you could walk into my office.
Sure.
You could eye to eye me. And I'm not going away, right? This is my community. Mm-hmm. Where the people that were calling me, it was more like, I don't want to call it boiler rooms, but it was more of lenders who are just out there maybe offering the lowest rate, but I don't even know if the guy's been in the mortgage business for a day.
So you're talking like a desk jockey,
he's
not really even
telemarketer.
telemarketers.
Am I going to trust my most important financial decision, whether it's a house, a car, life insurance, whatever it is, to save $1 or $2 a month with some random?
Right. Instead of building that relationship, which is so important in the world today, knowing who you're working with and understanding the person that you're with, even being a name instead of a number, I think is probably because mortgage world or cars or what have you. I mean, there's constant competition.
And let me tell you, another thing I experienced. Well, another thing I experienced is these callers were dancing around who they were.
Ooh.
So there was deception, like, hey, I'm calling about your mortgage loan application. Well, immediately I'm like, well, yeah, I just applied with ABC. Yeah. And then they started asking me questions and filling out another mortgage application. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. But I've given you guys all this information. Well, we're just verifying it.
Are they associated or affiliated?
They
with
were
that?
using deception.
Oh.
To fill out another application. Right. And if I didn't know exactly what was going on, I could have been led down the path to applying for another mortgage loan.
So the trigger, just to recap quickly here. So the trigger set off to other competitors. The other competitors are calling your borrower, and that borrower is either not fully understanding who this person is because maybe you have an assistant, or maybe they're masking themselves or deceiving you, really.
Deception.
As to who you are.
Yep.
And trying to fill it out to steal the lead, as it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And then in the end, if they're going to use deception to get you to apply, what are they giving you? Like, in the end, are they going to give you the mortgage loan that they're presenting? Or are they deceiving you all along the process?
Right.
Right. And what's this person's track record?
Now, you said something pretty interesting too. They said, hey, so-and-so. So they must have gotten your name, right?
Yeah. The data they get.
I was going to say, what type of data do they get?
So I did a lot of research, right? We know they're getting first name, last name. We know they're getting the state because they're marketing to a state, right? They're understanding what you've applied for. So if I apply for a car loan, I'm not getting a mortgage guy call me. I'm getting a car loan company calling me. If I apply for a mortgage loan, I'm getting a mortgage person calling me. So they understand, hey, Seth has applied for a mortgage loan with ABC. Why don't you call him? Here's his phone number and his email address. And then they use that information to market to you, sometimes deceptively.
So not only through the phone calls you're saying, but there are other different forms of marketing that they use?
Oh, they're texting.
Texting too. Wow.
They're texting. And the texts sometimes are like, obviously we don't want them, but hey, do you want a lower rate on your mortgage that you just applied for? Like, wait a minute. How do you know I applied for a mortgage? It's like the
ink isn't even dry yet. How do you even know that?
It's like Facebook listening to me when I'm having conversations and presenting ads, right? So let me ask you this. So first of all, I don't want to talk to people that I haven't reached out to. Like, if I'm going to do business,
right,
I am going to ask people who have done that same business around me and ask them who they know and who they trust and who they've had a great track record with. Right. So, I'm not a big fan of 42 phone calls in a day. So my question is to you, Seth, is like, how can I stop it?
Yep. So there are a couple of different opt-out opportunities here. If you're looking to opt out of, let's say, the no-call list, there is a no-call registry.
Like the federal
do not call list, right? That might be someplace that you go.
Awesome.
There are also a couple of other numbers here. One of the numbers is 888-567-8688, and that's, again, the opt-out number.
All right. We'll put that on the screen for y'all so you have it.
Right. So it's 1-888-567-8688. And then there's also the website you can go to. It's www.optoutprescreen.com.
Here it is right here.
Perfect.
Yeah. Let's see how good the video guy is putting it up there.
www.optoutprescreen.com.
Okay. So to my lender friends.
Yeah.
What's your feelings like? What can we do to help a borrower,
So again,
not get anxiety about this.
So again, you want to make sure that you inform them that, hey, listen, you may receive a couple other phone calls or even some mailers. I know when I was going through my refinance, again, just to see the process. Yeah, we got mailers that said, hey, you can lower your interest rate even from what you had on your refinance. We heard that you might be looking for a refinance, and we're with Community Lending. They actually used our name. Yeah. And I read down a little bit further, and it says in the small
not affiliated
2-point font, not affiliated nor endorsed by Community Lending. So we knew that that was a fraud,
right?
Or deceptive advertising, which is illegal.
It was deceptive, right? Okay,
so we can educate the borrowers. That's truly the route here, and also preserve the integrity of their information, only giving the minimum amount of information that we need in order to pull credit.
Yep.
So no email addresses or extra phone
numbers. Right, like why would you give
why
all
make
that
it easier
data?
for them, right?
Yeah.
So keeping private matters private to the best of our ability, but still allowing us able to do our job.
All right, and then the borrowers, I'd like to say for you borrowers out there, be alert and be aware. So what does this mean? When you get that phone call, don't just give information. Like, stop for a second and say, hey, wait a minute. Who are you with?
Right.
What are you calling about? How do you know you know what I'm saying?
And they kind of clam up too. They say, well, and then maybe even hang up.
Yeah, because they're not used to
not used to those responses, right? Yep. Instead of just going along with their scripts, as it were.
And they can just call the next guy on the list. That's an easy target.
Exactly. Yep.
Like, hey, I'm calling about your car. Warranty's about to expire.
Which car? Kind of like one of those things.
It's just I keep getting those calls.
So just to really wrap it up, we work with people that we know, like, and trust, and we want you to understand that we're here for the best and the betterment of your loan process. And so when we look at looking at whether or not going to a lender that you just could write a phone call for, or a local lender, I mean, really, the local lenders, like, and trust, those are the ones that you really want to work with in order to facilitate that transaction.
I think whoever the lender is that you choose, I think you've hopefully chosen them because you've read their reviews, you know or trust them, you have a friend or family members that knows or trusts them, and they have a reputation in the community that they are going to do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's extremely important in the biggest financial transaction of your life. All right, so I want to talk about two other things, and one you brought to me today, but the first is the retention department of your current lender.
Ah, yes.
So before my career at Community Lending, I worked for a very large bank, and we knew when our customers applied for credit with somebody else. So we didn't buy other banks' trigger leads. We had, I don't want to call it a stalker, but we had a stalker on all of our borrowers and account holders' credit reports, that if you banked with us, the minute you applied for credit, I was notified. So it was kind of a trigger, but it was more of we'll call it a retention trigger.
Right.
So I could just say, hey, this is Vito with ABC. Hey, we've been your mortgage holder for the last 10 years. It looks like you've applied for a loan. And then I could try and scoop you back in to make sure you never left the bank.
Wow.
Right. So it's pretty powerful. And then finally, once we close on a mortgage, and now this isn't a trigger thing, but this is deceptive. We're going right down the road.
We want to make sure
I closed on a mortgage transaction, and I got 42 letters in the mail trying to sell me what?
The deed?
That was
stamp. I mean, those are those
Wait a minute.
You want to look at too.
Wait, the deed. I wasn't even going there, but thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry. Do I have to pay for a copy of my deed?
You don't. You can go down to your local clerk courts and you can request one. Now, if there's a fee for printing it on themselves, that's
like 99 cents, but
not $15 or $17.88. I think is what I saw was a random number.
Most of the counties in Florida, you can go online and get it.
Yeah, there's the other option.
This letter was like, it was an official letter. It looked like it was from the government. Hey, get a certified true copy of your deed now for $98. Fill in your credit card information. And I felt like this was official.
Not affiliated nor associated with the clerk courts of whatever county it is.
You need to read the fine print. So there's the deed thing. scam.
Yes.
Scam. And then there is the insurance thing. Have you had that?
Yeah. So before I actually came in, and actually you were talking to me, and I was actually doing what's called critical period insurance, where we would actually buy leads from other distributors.
Yep.
And we would actually call them up and say, hey, listen, we heard that you got a mortgage.
Yep.
And in order to cover the loss between if you die, either pay off the mortgage or go ahead and
Like life insurance.
Life insurance policies essentially is what you would do. And you would try and pick up those leads based off of the mortgages that were just closed.
So to be clear, when you close a mortgage loan, it's recorded at the county, and it's recorded with certain non-personal data. So like the address of the property, your name, and the loan amount, because there's a security instrument against the property, and who gave you the loan. So they take these key pieces of information, and now they send you an envelope, and it appears to kind of be from your lender. So you're like, oh, Vito just sent me a piece of mail. And then you open it, and it's almost like Vito's offering me life insurance.
In order to cover your mortgage expense, just fill out this phone number and check yes or no and send it back to us. And sometimes it's prepaid envelopes too. And that's the way that the lead is picked up.
And if you read the fine print, what does it say?
It says not affiliated nor associated with community lending or your local servicer.
All right. And then my biggest piece of advice, guys, is listen, don't do business with people who are trying to deceive you to get information from you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Be an open book here at, know, like, and trust the person that you're working with.
Yep. Be alert.
Truly be alert and be
aware.
Attentive and read the fine print.
All right.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us today.
Have a great day.